Okay, take two. It's driving me crazy. I have a camera that's not working well. So, hi, I'm Michelle. This is my so-called handmade life. I have a blog. Sorry. I have a blog by the same name, and that's my name on Instagram. On Ravelry, I am Mamatronic. This is a knitting, crochet, handmaking, homemaking, whatever DIY kind of podcast where I talk about whatever I feel like, ask you questions, and then you respond, hopefully, in the comments, and that guides what I speak about the next week. So, I didn't get a lot of responses last week, but a few. This has been super stressful. I've tried doing this like so many times today, and I joined this challenge and I'm trying to put out 4 videos in 1 week. I'm not quite sure why. It probably has something to do with the algorithm and getting picked up by people on YouTube, but for me, I thought I am going to streamline the process of making videos, and I've not streamlined anything. I thought I would learn how to make this fast so that as my life gets busier, I can still make these videos pretty easy. No. I learned a few things. What I learned was I make everything super hard. So one of my little extra videos for the week was something that required me pulling out like 50 sweaters from all over creation, breaking a sweat doing it, half a day looking for them, and then dredging up a million photos to support what I'm talking about, all of which is going to take forever to edit. And I realized, secondly, that I keep so many things that don't fit me anymore. I don't know, I'm sentimental, I guess, about when I made it, and maybe I'm hopeful it'll fit again, but mostly I'm just sentimental, I think. It's not great. Probably not super healthy, but oh well, that's where I am. So that was my week. I've also been learning Final Cut Pro. Finally, I'm using it. And I don't know, the week has just kind of kicked my butt tech-wise. And then there's been other regular life stuff. But I wanted to talk to you about the things I'm really going to make this summer, because one of my videos that required a million sweaters was all the summer yarn I've used in the past, or the yarn I've used for summer knits, and what was appropriate and what wasn't. And then also I talked about things that look like my perfect sweater, my perfect summer tee or tank top, but I'm obviously not going to make all of them. I never do. So what I want to talk about in this episode is what I will actually be making this summer. I've already started one, and when I get to the join for the body, I will start another one. So these videos take a lot for me to make. Like, they may not be this way for everyone, but I really try to think about your comments, kind of like you would think, like if you were talking to a friend, chatting with them while knitting, you would ruminate on what they say, and the next time you see them, you'd be like, you know, I was thinking about that, and like that. I want to spend some time kind of just considering your thoughts, so that takes time, and then the notes, and then making the notes readable with me, like while I'm spazzing and doing this, I look down, I have to have some things in bold. And then getting together all the stuff to show you, all the images. Oh, I make it hard. But I do enjoy it. I'm kind of obsessive about it. Once I have an idea, that's the thing I have to do. This is the thing I've been working on all over the place. All right, so it's been a crazy week. Here's the thing I've been working on. I set my super bulky cardigan aside to actually work on something I might could wear this summer. You know, all this talk about summer knits, and oh my gosh, I'm seeing summer knit this, summer knit that everywhere. This is the Raw Tee by Lone Jeltsin, I think is how you say it. This is the back, and then you see the seam and the shoulder here, and then I'm starting on the 2 fronts. So I really like this seam. And a lot of the seams have this deconstructed raw look. The shaping of this sweater is very classic tee, but it's got a lot of positive ease. I like the neckline. It makes me think kind of a a regular like ringer tea. And I love that, so this is matching all of my, criteria for the perfect tea. For something interesting, there's these little seams, but also the color. This turmeric and Lindy chain is really a sweet color, and I'm enjoying it. I think it's a bright, summery type thing to make. Whereas I often have neutrals. You can see I'm wearing my Zara tee, also in Lindy chain. Man, this is super comfortable. I'm not sweating at all while doing this, even though I'm upstairs and that's typically a warm room in the house in the summer. So I'm looking forward to having this because it's going to have, I think, more positive ease than my Zara. Let me show you my Zara. I've shown this before. But today, since I made a million videos, I've actually changed my, I've made a quick change between videos, mostly to kind of provide an imagery to what I'm talking about. But anyway, raw tea, actually working on it and enjoying it. I'm watching The Bear season 2. Have you watched this first season? It's really good. If you've ever worked in restaurants, which I have, it's pretty accurate. It's kind of wild. And some restaurants more than others. And then the season 2 is very different, but I love how the changes aren't just happening to one person, it's everyone. I like the whole cast to that show. All right, so that was what I was working on. I talked to you about AI. I talked to you about my personal issues with tech, like this freaking camera I couldn't get to work. It keeps like overheating or something. So I pulled out an old one. Hopefully this is all working well. And I did this whole spiel I'm going to do with you. I did it and I was like, that went really well. I had the mic off, so there was no sound. I was pantomiming. Hands a-flailing. Anyway, I think my husband lulled you into trusting AI. Don't be fooled. It's out to take your jobs. I asked you how you thought AI would change knitwear design and how you approach knitting. I didn't get a lot of answers, but Adina did say slow makers will always prefer slow, thoughtful making. And I agree completely, Adina. And she wondered if similar fears like we have of AI replacing or upheaving things, if those were had with the invention of Arkwright's mill. So I don't know a lot about the history of mills, but I looked it up and it really did happen. Like he came up with this water frame type of spinning that reduced the need for skilled workers. And so you needed fewer workers and they could be unskilled and paid less. And within 10 years of him designing it, he opened a brand new factory, a mill in Chorley, and arsonists destroyed it. They burned it down in protest. So the people protesting the use of technology to replace, human laborers were Luddites. And it's kind of weird. I don't know anything about the history of Luddites, but I've watched Beforeigners, the TV show, and they have the Luddites in, Beforeigners. Anyway, anti-technology. So it did happen way back then, but would that happen today? I mean, isn't AI already doing it? Haven't we all just kind of succumbed to it? I feel like if we were going to truly get vigilante, like about protesting AI, we probably would have done it when all the research about what social media, the algorithm, Instagram, Facebook are doing to our children. Like, if anything was going to wake us up and make us get outraged, I would think it would be that. When you see that the people who work at these companies won't let their kids have phones, won't even let them get on these apps because they know what it does, that's like an eye-opener. And we just kind of went, what are you gonna do? So I don't know if there would ever be an equivalent to the Luddites, but I know a lot of people are upset about technology However, it feels like we're more in a try to pivot kind of like Andrew Yang phase. So I don't know. I just thought it was interesting. I looked it up and I was like, wow, people were worried about it. So this leads me to something I was thinking of this week, how social media really became the beast it is. I was a fully formed adult. Yeah, I was who I was. I'm not saying it won't change me, but when terrible things are happening in the world and I watch a lot of it on social media, it could make me more anxious. It has, and I've backed up. But it's not going to totally, I feel like, change my brain. I feel like the most vulnerable are younger people, younger generations who aren't fully formed, you know? So, I don't know. I just thought about, what do I forward? What do I spread? Have I ever spread bad news being like, great, now this? Do I really want to send that to somebody who might be deeply affected? I don't know. It just made me more thoughtful about my place in this. What do I want to spread, you know? Because I have a Gen X brain, and I don't know any boomers who are being changed. I mean, I don't know. They forward some crazy stuff sometimes, some of the people I know, but the older generations. But I don't know that it's changing them and making them super anxious. But I know it's doing that to people younger than me, like my children's generation. And I just want to be really thoughtful about what I spread. How necessary is it? I don't know. Karen has watched too much Black Mirror to even want to consider the dark side of AI. So I get you. I personally feel like AI could replace patterns. It might, you know, it might change how we design patterns, but all the free patterns on Ravelry, all the how-to books, all the free tutorials, the teaching methods that are free online, plus courses people pay for. I mean, we already could make things for ourselves if we wanted. We don't really need patterns. We just like them. And so that led me to think, why do we like them so much? I'd like to hear why you think we still rely on patterns as much as we do. I like to turn my brain off sometimes and see how someone else does something. Sometimes I want the challenge, like we're all on a spectrum, right, of how much we want to be in control, or just relax and let go of the reins and let someone else drive us for a bit. And then later, when I feel like it, I want to take the reins back and do my own weird thing. But some people kind of like to read patterns like you would like reading recipes. You might already know how to make meatloaf, but you're interested in how this person's meatloaf might be a little different than yours, and what are the images like and the layout of the recipe. I like patterns for that reason. I'm interested in the layout even and the photography. But I also think it's a community thing. Like, I'm buying the brand. We do want a sense of community. I got it too. We're all reading it together. We're all making it together. But I also get really loyal to someone. If I really like some of their patterns, I find I'm a bit loyal and I go back for it, which most businesses count on. They count on those true fans. I was just thinking how branding, becoming a brand for designers, really got big in the last decade. Like, I remember when there were really innovative things happening on Ravelry, but then some people started rising above, and there were some cool designs that just weren't getting a lot of attention because the photographs weren't so Instagram worthy. They weren't taking special photos. They were doing like a Polaroid, you know? The people who started really branding with certain kind of images, which now look super dated, but they were all just so airy and beautiful at the time. They were on an ad campaign of like Instagram posts every day, a blog post every 2 days, a knit along happening, which, you know, I do it. I totally like knit-alongs. I mean, if you watch my lately pullover video, I fangirl over Shannon Cook's designs. I'm that way. I like get loyal to the person. I also think one reason we will probably always like patterns, even if one person directs AI to make their pattern for them, we'll like it directed by an individual. Because it's like the Payless shoes factor, right? Do you remember when you were young and you couldn't afford, you don't, I couldn't afford a lot of the shoe styles that were like a big deal. Even like Keds, they were really popular. You'd wear Keds with no socks. And everybody had them. And I would have to go to Payless for my kids. I couldn't afford the name brand. And so I would go to Payless. And I mean, it was fine. I didn't mind. I kind of like being clever and saving some money. But sometimes you just want the brand. You want the name brand. There's a little of that. That's that consumerism we've talked about in the last year. We've talked a ton about it. There's that factor. I don't want to be left out. I want the real thing, you know? There's that too. But I think about these designers who have spent so much time building a community around their product. They have to have something real. After a while, if you don't have something real, people lose interest. But if you're really giving something and people want it and you build a community around it, I mean, can AI do that? I just don't know. I see there's always going to be a place of some sort for that. We like the people. We like the connection. So like Adina said, from like hand washing, carding, spinning, dyeing, knitting it up, to knitting machines, to e-patterns and indie design, all of it, slow making has always been there and it will always continue. I feel like there will always be an Ada who just wakes up one morning and says, I think I'd like to make up a vest pattern and use Steeks out of stash and then just come up with it in a few weeks, like she did in our Wing It Cow. And it's also this intrinsic part of who we are. Making things with our hands connects us to ourselves, our mind, you know, to our body, to other people. Like I said in my little video about the lately pullover, I feel a connection with Shannon. We've never met in person. I don't really know her, but I know her, right? Because I like her stuff. I like her motivations. And, you know, and then in the forums on Ravelry, I did get to know her some, but you get my point. We like what we know of other people. We feel connected to other people. And then maybe relatives and friends that also make with us. I don't know. I think slow makers are always going to need that. One last thought about that. I looked up crochet machines just to see, you know, we have our knitting machines, and I was thinking of Alina Schneider, her knitted sweaters that she would make for warm weather. They were t-shirt weight. They were super thin and really beautiful. That would be so handy to have. But I was thinking about a crochet machine. Is there such a thing? And I looked it up. I'll link a video. It's a short, fun video I saw on it, but they said no, not one successful prototype has been made. There's one that can kind of do a basic crochet type stitch, but it often screws up. And they said that knitting, you know, you know how you can drop a stitch, like they're connected top to bottom. Crochet is connected side to side too. It's just too complicated. And then so many of the stitches, you know, you're having to skip, you're having to move all over the place. It's so freeform and cool that a machine just can't do it with any accuracy. In fact, they said a decrease in crochet can take 49 movements over 9 axes. I thought that was so neat. They said when studying hyperbolic space, they couldn't come up with a way to effectively model it until someone thought of crochet. And they use crochet to model it. That's really neat. Makes me really excited about what I'm going to talk about because I'm wanting to try some new things this summer. I've already done a couple of things like these videos and changing some of my tech. But I want to try crochet, like really do a garment. And so the other thing after this that I'm actually going to make is the Khaled tee by Jessica Sohn. I'm going to do it in colors very similar to hers, these right here. I like the color choice that she had. I thought it was a great neutral combo. This is also Lindy chain, just like I have for my raw tee. And wow, it is super lightweight. If you've already watched my video about summer weight yarns that I've used, it's my all-time favorite because it's affordable, feels very linen-like, and it washes up really well. Nice and worn and comfy. So I'm going to do this, and it is like a shirt style, but it's fingering weight with a lot of lace crochet. It's going to be nice and airy. I love the collar. I just think it's the cutest design. I also think it would be a bit forgiving if my gauge gets off. If it were a little larger than I planned, I'm cool with that. I'm really cool with that. So I'm excited to start that, and that's going to be something unusual for me. I've been wanting to do it though. So my other summer knit that's also crochet will be these 4 skeins. They will become Tony Lipsy's Tobago bag. I thought these colors were kind of like that rainbow blanket that I made. These are very 70s retro colors for me. And that's, I don't know, just that bag seems really summery. It also seems really easy for keeping phone, keys, wallet. I can put it crossbody style over me and go for a walk with my daughter, get something to eat, go back to the river, jump in, you know. Lightweight, fun summer bag. It could be a year-round bag, but it looks very summery to me. So I'm excited about it. I wanted to mention something. This is Knit Picks yarn. And this is 24/7 from Lion Brand, 24/7 cotton. You know that Knit Picks has a sister crochet site, right? They often have different products on sale than Knit Picks, but it's the same yarn on both sides. And the total that you pay till you get free shipping is lower on We Crochet than it is on Knit Picks. So I got the summer sale on Knit Picks didn't get me, right? I was like, impervious, no, I'm not going to add stash. But then I looked at We Crochet and I was like, crap, I want that. So I did get a little yarn on the summer sale. But I thought if you were looking for a sweater's quantity of yarn, and I think Lori, you mentioned, where do you go for sweater quantities? Well, Knit Picks is doing the summer sale. And you might try We Crochet because $45 gets you free shipping, whereas it's like $65 on Knit Picks. And they have different things on sale, possibly a steeper discount than on Knit Picks when both are on sale. I'm not sure about that though. Don't know why. I guess they don't feel they have to woo crocheters as much as, or they feel like they have to woo crocheters more than knitters. I don't know. Maybe that's just sort of the industry standard for yarns that are typically crochet worthy. I notice they carry, I think they carry Lion Brand on We Crochet, which Knit Picks doesn't carry Lion Brand, but Lion Brand must be popular. I mean, well, look, it's popular with crocheters. I mean, it's popular for me as a knitter too. So anyway, those are the projects I'm going to do. And as far as other new things, I really still want to make that catio, though it's too hot for my kitty right now outside. My little dog's paws are getting burnt on the hot pavement. I have to wait till like 9 o'clock to walk him, and he needs that exercise. He's getting older, and he is having trouble not going to the bathroom in the house. So he's just having some issues. My heart's really tender toward the animals. And I've been volunteering here and there at our animal shelter. I kind of wanted to be part of something that helped my city. I really like where I live. I appreciate it. And the animal shelters seem to be a place that really needs help, and they do. They're way overcrowded with all these animals from neighboring cities and even counties being brought in. Is so pitiful. There's just like pop-up crates all over the carport, some double stacked because they just, you know, they don't want to put them down. It's not quite a no-kill shelter, but almost. They only put down animals that are like kittens that are not thriving. They're dying because they were taken too soon, or really sick animals. But they try. They have like amputations. There's dogs with paralysis. They make little, they'll get someone to donate wheelchairs for the back end of the dog. And so they really do work to keep a dog alive and get it to a rescue or to an owner, a new owner. So anyway, I knew if I went, I wanted to walk dogs, but I figured I'd end up cleaning because they just need it so bad. Like, who's gonna adopt a dog that's covered in stuff because they have to sit in a cage because there's not enough workers to walk all the dogs? You know what I mean? So I don't know. It's been very rewarding for just 2 hours every week. So my daughter also has been doing doggy day out, where you take a dog out for a few hours, and she's got these dogs behave. They're like stray dogs, right? Behave so much better in the car than my dogs. My dogs freak out. They like, one of them, the big one, tries to like sit on me. She wants to become me when I'm driving. So dangerous. It stresses us out. We rarely bring them anywhere because of it. And here's these dogs that have no owners and they're so chill. But that's been really sweet to see her do. I've been moving some plants around. You saw I've been planting, finally using these vintage planters I have. Oh, and I've been reading that book, Shakespeare Was a Woman. That's a really good book. Not what I thought. Like, I thought it was going to be, you know, the hunt for who really wrote the works of William Shakespeare. And I just, like, I don't remember my English teacher in high school ever going on and on about Shakespeare just being a pen name. But I never believed, after reading Hamlet, I thought there's no way it's who they think it was. But I kind of just accepted it. That, you know, we say Shakespeare, but, you know, we wink as we say it. Apparently, it's a big deal to question who wrote those works. And this book is less about a whodunit than it is how crazy people react to you taking away their cherished, I don't know, narrative. I really feel like you can take all the parts of this, about this subject, like a template, and you could just put it on any other subject in human history, and this is how people react, how they want to hold on to things, control things, how afraid they are of change, how they capitalize off things, and, you know, over-identify with things. It's just really good. It's been a good book. I'll link it in my notes. So that's everything. I've said it a million times. I'm getting super congested now. You can probably hear I'm talking like this. I'm baking lots of stuff, everybody. I'm always baking something. What was I saying? Oh yeah. I hope you have a good week. Enjoy the 4 videos that I stressed to make. None of them are probably going to come out right. Tell me, are you trying anything new and interesting this summer or soon? What would it be? And also, all the questions I've asked in the last few videos. What is your perfect summer knit? Are you going to make your perfect summer knit? And what is it? What yarn? I'm interested. Talk to you later. Bye.